Hey everybody, VinoMike here. Instead of writing a post about this, which I think is going to take me a long time, I just wanted to put it out in a video and just talk about it. Today was very meaningful for me. I got into running last year. I just wanted to push myself to do a 5K with my buddy Pete, who, my co-host of that wine pod. Many of you watching this know who I'm talking about, Pete D'Amico. And Pete was like absolutely crushing it in the running world. I was, before we did the 5K together, this guy was running half marathons and ultra crazy ass long runs. And it was just pretty remarkable and really inspiring. So, I didn't have any vision of doing any crazy long distance running like that, but I said, let me push myself to at least do a 5K, make that a goal of 2019. So we signed up for the Darien Dash, which was in May of last year, and we ran it together. And I said, after that, I said, basically, Pete, I want to get better. And since then, he's been my running coach. He's helped me along the way. We trained for a second 5K during the year, which came up in October. And this time, Pete, who got his certification, he's a certified run coach. He drew up a running plan for me during that time through the middle to late summer and into early fall. And I shaved something like 4 to 5 minutes off of my 5K time that I ran at the Darien Dash. This was at the Morton Arboretum, and I ran it in under 30 minutes. And that was kind of my goal, to do the sub 30 5K, join the sub 30 club. And it was an awesome achievement. I improved so much during that training over the summer. And after that race, I made a lot of big decisions, but one of them was, rather than going for speed, I wanted to go for distance. He's going the distance. How can that not be in your head right now? It popped in my head, but so it was a bit scary, to be honest. But I said I want to train and do a half marathon. For me personally, I think running and accomplishing longer distances was more meaningful and makes more of an impact on me as a person than to get faster and faster at shorter distances. That's just me personally. Everybody's different. So we basically signed up for the Illinois Half Marathon, which was scheduled for today, April 25th, 2020. This was back in November when I decided that I wanted to do that. Pete had run it before in 2018. I'm not sure what other years he might have done it, but it was a race that he knew and that he did. And of course I have ties down in Urbana, having lived down there for 5 years of my life, and it just made sense. It was awesome. So it's like, all right, let's do that. And I began the training in November, and fast forward, COVID hits, the race gets canceled or postponed, as they say, but obviously today's was canceled, and there was no more race happening. And I was roughly halfway through my training, and I had put in too much work already and had some really significant work coming up that I just didn't want to give that up. So I said, screw it, I'm going to do this half marathon anyways, and we'll call it a virtual half marathon. And then I ended up saying the VinoMike virtual half marathon. That's my name on social media. And we kept going with the training. Pete worked with me again on the running plans, and mentally supportive, just checking in on how my runs were going, which they were going great. The plans were just working awesome. And of course the partnership, I had a lot to do with that in terms of executing the plan, staying committed, running within the guidelines that the plan set, meaning, not too slow, but also not pushing and doing too fast and going rogue. I did exactly what was laid out for me, and holy crap, the results were amazing. Before you knew it, I was doing 7, 8, 9 mile runs that were no problem. I mean, I wasn't like crushing land speed records. Sorry guys, just getting a little low battery signal. But the training was working really well. So today was race day, and I got so much support from so many people online, and I thank all of you from the bottom of my heart. All the messages, the likes, the loves, the thumbs up, the clicks, they all mean something to me, and I really was thinking of all of you guys out there on the run today. So my story about the run, I decided to run on the Illinois Prairie Path, one-way direction, so versus starting and finishing at the same spot. So I picked to run from Wheaton to the Fox River in Aurora, one way. And I went that way because of the wind and the weather today. My original plan was to end in Wheaton, be a little closer to home, but it's all good. And so, you know, I started out the run. It was feeling great. My game plan, and I talked with Pete about that a couple days ago. I was executing the game plan. I was feeling really good. And right around like mile 7, there was a massive detour where you couldn't cross with the path where it goes underneath I-88. And they detour you off a different way. So, okay, running along. And about a mile later, the signage just got, for me, really confusing. And there was a sign that said, you know, detour Prairie Path South, diagonal this way. So I stuck with that way, and it sent me the wrong direction. So, and I had to take my phone out and look at my own GPS. I'm like, this is not right. I need to get on the other side of the highway. So I turned back around, went back to where that detour was, and I went a wrong way again. Because it was like a path. It just looked like a path. It was like, all right, maybe this is the way. And I went, who knows how long that way, and veered back. Again, didn't feel that it was the right way, so came back. And then finally went the least obvious way and saw a sign again that said Prairie Path this way. And as I was going over 294, because I was connecting from my watch to you know, basically set up an online link where people can look in and see where I was and everything. Pete was able to track me down. I think it was through sheer luck. And I'm running across I-88, and all of a sudden I look over, I hear, come on, let's go, or something of that nature. And there's Pete in drive-in and cheering me on. And it was such an adrenaline boost. And I mean, you know, this guy spent his time today, went out, like, totally screwing up my game plan, meaning getting lost. GPS is going wild, and you know, there was some luck involved, but nonetheless, he was out there trying to find me to give me a little support, and it was such an adrenaline boost. And Pete, I can't thank you enough, man. It was so awesome. And so he hit a traffic light, and I was catching up to him, and then all of a sudden, I see this sign sticking out of his car. He's holding this sign out the window, and I see it, and it's Go VinoMike, and I run by, and I was cheering. I was like, yeah, here we go. And at this point, I had about a little under 4 miles left, and I was still feeling great, but I had to really dig in the last 4 miles because this detour just screwed up my pacing. And mentally, like, I was kind of getting a little pissed off, right? Like, frustrated. But I got back on the path, reconnected, and I did it. I hit the half marathon. I hit my goal of sub 2:15. I had to push myself a lot harder than what I wanted to get there, but I knew beginning of the race that was going to be attainable. And because of that detour, I didn't want that to be the reason that I did not attain this goal. So I pushed way harder than I would have had to had I not gotten lost. And, you know, kind of paying for it a little bit physically, but finally feeling a little more normal. But it felt so damn good to accomplish that goal. And because of that detour, I finished a mile or a mile more, a little over a mile away from my original finish line area, which was called Illinois Avenue Park over by the Fox River. I didn't make it that far because I chewed up all that mile, you know, a whole mile on the detour. And so once again, Pete and also now Aaron and Johnny had to come find me. And Pete was able to find me on the GPS. I came out of the Prairie Path at, you know, back into civilization at this place called Indian Trail Park in Aurora. And Pete was able to find me, and he meets me and was there to congratulate me. And again, it meant so much. And when you run these, this is the first time ever for me, right? Like running a half marathon. This was going to be my first official half marathon race of my life. And I'm turning 43 in a few days. So kind of a big deal for me. And when you run these races, it doesn't matter your time. When you finish, you get a really fantastic medal. Obviously, there was no medals going to be given out on my VinoMike virtual half marathon, or so I thought. So Pete meets me, and he has a medal for me, and this is it. And we turn it around, and we got wine corks. And not just any wine corks. These are the wine corks of the bottles that we popped open when recording the episodes of That Wine Pod. So much thought and significance went into this. So beautiful and amazing. So I put this around my neck. I mean, it was amazing. I was honestly 50% in pain and my legs were cramping up and all that kind of stuff, and 50% trying to soak it in and feel the emotion. And I'm really feeling it now, which is why I'm making this video. And then, what does this guy do? This is the ultimate. It blows me away. As I mentioned, Pete ran the Illinois Marathon, half marathon, in 2018, and he got a medal for completing it. And he brought it to the end of the race, and he passed it along to me. He gave me his medal from 2018 for me, for what I just did. And I just don't even have the words. So Pete, thank you so much for everything. Gretchen, Pete's wife, Michaela, the D'Amico family, thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. Nothing but love for you. And thanks for all the incredible support. As you said, I believe in a Facebook post, Pete, looking forward to running a race together, and I can't wait for that either. I know it's going to happen, hopefully in 2020, but of course that's all uncertain now. But as soon as we're able to, it's on. We're definitely going to do it. So that's my story, guys. Thanks for listening. If you spent this 12 minutes here with me, it means a ton. And as always, stay safe, stay positive, and much love.